Hello, everybody. I'm just going to say a few things while people are coming into the room because I know they said that it takes a few minutes to get in here, and that's great. But welcome to Discover Your Profitable Passions in 5 Easy Steps. This is so much fun for me because it's all about you. The whole thing is going to be about you. So I don't know how comfortable you are with yourself and all the things that you are, but that's all we're going to be talking about today. So I hope you enjoy this. I'm Patricia Drain, and I'm your guide through this entire program, 45 minutes long that we get together today. And I want to make sure I fill that with really important things that will change possibly your life. I just did this last week at a group, and I can't even tell you the people that were calling and saying, crying, because I never ever thought about this stuff about myself. Right? We'll be going through that today. So as I said, one of the things that I started thinking when I was putting everything together for you, yes, I'm Patricia Drain, and I am a business mentor. I am a speaker. I'm an author. But what the heck am I doing with this? Well, I also am the founder. We're just getting started on Discovering Your Core for Children. It's going to be an academy. It's because no one is helping us find out what it is we're good at and then play to those strengths for your whole life. We just grow up and get a job. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to just be a small little portion of trying to help with that situation. But I also wanted to tell you, why me? Why am I teaching this? Discover your profitable passions in 5 Easy Steps. Well, I'll give you a little bit of background for that and why it's me. So I started out as a school teacher many years ago, and I really absolutely loved every single thing about it. In fact, I couldn't even believe that I loved it that much. But when I went to school, I also noticed that uh, I love children, and the reason I did is because exactly what happened when I was teaching that second grade. I had one child after another come up and they'd say, "Mrs. Drain, I'm getting nervous. I don't know what to be when I grow up." And I'd say, "Honey, don't worry. You're in the second grade." You know what I do today? I'd say, "Honey, we better start worrying. We better start digging and finding your gifts, your talents, your skills that you came into the world with. And then you're going to play to those and make sure that you're happy when you're in a career when you grow up." I would absolutely do that. Now, I can't blame the school system. They've got to teach math and science and all the things that they have to do. But what I can do is try to help as many people as I possibly can really get to where it is they need to get with their life. I call it the stone syndrome that happens to us. You remember this flat stone? And you get to a lake, placid lake, and you throw the stone in the middle of the lake and it ripples. Everything starts rippling. Well, those ripples are what I consider our lives. And our lives start with, we go to school. Okay, good. Then we have to graduate. Okay. And some graduate and go to school a lot longer. And then we have to get a job. And some of us get one that we really don't love. Okay. In fact, that's a lot of us. And then you go and you start, does it have benefits? Because it's time to get married and you have to have benefits for your marriage. Now it's time to have a kid. Well, maybe it's time to have 2 kids or 3. Yeah, this is what life happens. And now you work at this job that pays the mortgage and pays the bills so that you can have fun on the weekend. Then eventually you keep moving down that path and you get to retire and do anything you want. And then you go, but what is it that I want? Right, because you've been just doing this life, this thing called life for all this time. And quite honestly, it happens to everybody. I mean, me included. So the second reason why I think I can really be the one to teach this is because I owned an executive company, an executive recruiting firm in Phoenix, Arizona for years. And guess what happened there? I would have one person after the other come into my office and say, "Patricia, I know this sounds weird, but I don't know what to be, and I'm all grown up." Day after day after day for years. So I finally thought, well, maybe my contribution can be I'll write this book. What should I be when I grow up now that I'm 40, 50, 60? It's helped hundreds of people get a job. It's really about careers and really digging into what it is that you need in your career. And when I think about it, and this is the the statistic I have. You can look up your own, but 78% of us are exchanging money for time. And they're not happy doing that either. So now take me to the next place where I'm teaching entrepreneurs, because I noticed that there were people coming in my office that said, I don't want to go back into that world. I don't want to go back to a job 8 to 5. I didn't blame them. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to create something deeper than just that book. And I created Your Gift is Your Niche. It's a 6-hour course that I can put people through to really dig deep into what it is they want. And I have a gentleman, this was weird. I just wanted to mention this to you. His name is, he's out of India. He's an engineer. His name is Piyush Parak. And Piyush came to me in one of the chamber meetings and said, you know, I guess since I'm an engineer, I have to go find a job, and I don't even like it. I hate engineering. I've never wanted to be an engineer, but when you come from India, that's just what you are. My sister is, my cousins are, everybody's an engineer. I said, really? And I said, I have a course, Your Gift is Your Niche. And so he went through the course, and he was in shock the whole time he's going through it, because he kept finding and digging more passion, more purpose in his life. And he's like, this is incredible. You mean I don't have to be an engineer? I said, no, let's get to the passion. Well, his passion was computers and IT and helping businesses grow. So now he has a company called Engineer Your Business, and he goes into companies and charges a lot and helps them with their computer system or with their business and helps them grow. And he loves it. He's in heaven. And he said he has flexible hours. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. Sometimes we graduate in things that we shouldn't be in, and that's okay to change. I know that a lot of money goes into it, and for me to be saying that, you want to slap me, but it's the truth. It's your life, your one and only life. Well, my latest book is called Discovering Your Core, because I realized that we have to almost have an awakening to get to the core of who we really are. And this apple really represents it, because those are the seeds of greatness that you came in with. But you can't get to them until you start the digging process. And believe me, it is a process. It's a process longer for some than for others. But at the core, when you finally get there, it's a knowing. You just know that this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is your purpose. Now, you see why I'm qualified, because it's been my life's work. That's all I have been doing is helping people with this whole, it's a mystery, really. And it's about us, ourselves, you, me. Nobody told us that we're the most important person on the planet, and to really take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. So here we go. I want you to get a pen and paper, because I'm going to be giving you assignments, because you really can't do this deep work in this 45 minutes. And there is a workbook that accompanies it, but you don't need it. I kind of wanted you to write it out so that you could really be thinking as we were going. But if you want the workbook, just email Patricia at patriciadrain, DRAIN.com, and I'll send it to you. I call this also, I probably should have named the workbook this, radical self-awareness work, because that's what you're going to be doing when you go through these questions that I'm going to be giving you. And I want you to really begin watching for clues, because clues are everywhere around us. Today on this call, you may get some clues. You may hear, oh, wow, I forgot about that. I haven't thought about that for a long time. Might happen, I don't know. I can tell you my first clue was seriously when I went there as a school teacher, like I told you, and somebody gave me a paycheck, and it was big to me. I was only 21. It was a really big paycheck, and I'm like, I'm getting paid to be with these children, and they aren't. And so that's your first clue. If you have ever done something that you got paid for and you couldn't believe it, that's a clue to your passion. If you say something like, what would you do for free because you love it so much? That's a clue. My second clue came when I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, just before I started my company. And I didn't know anything. See, I had the privilege of being home raising children for, I think, 14 years. So I was really kind of out of it. And of course, I went around interviewing, and absolutely nobody wanted me because I just was silly. I was just saying the wrong stuff, and I didn't get it. I didn't get how to interview or anything. But as I was getting, rejected every place I went, I thought, maybe I better look into me a little more and figure out what it is I want in the job that I might be getting. So what I did, and I put it in the book, What Should I Be? So it could help somebody else. What I did was find out my ingredients. And it took me a while to say, okay, what is it that I really need in a job? And I came up with 7 things. Now I noticed when I did share these with somebody else, they said it really helped them nail down theirs. Number 1, I needed a professional atmosphere. Number 2, I needed flexibility in my schedule because I wanted to be able to go to the children's games and stuff. Number 3, I wanted unlimited income potential, which meant straight commission for me. Number 4, I needed an opportunity to help people do something. I didn't know what. Number 5, I needed to use my communication skills because I've always been a speaker. Number 6, I wanted an environment that I felt very productive. And number 7, I wanted the location to be 15 minutes from my home. Now, I know that was a lot to ask for, but that's what I felt I needed, not wanted or desired, needed in a job. So all of a sudden, I find myself talking to somebody, and she said, do you know that there are companies here that actually find you jobs? I said, really? And she said, they're recruiting firms. I said, wow. So I made an appointment, went down Scottsdale, and I'm 15 minutes from there. Yay. I've got all my ingredients, maybe. I don't know. She's going to help me. And I wait in the lobby, fill out the application. The lady comes out, and she's really tall and big. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is awesome. I mean, she's going to help me. It's going to be fabulous. And we go back, and I could tell right away she couldn't stand me, but I didn't know why. So she started looking at everything. And of course, I have no background, except I'm a school teacher from years ago, and I'm not now. And she's looking at it, and she looks at me, and she said, I'm just confused. Why? I see that you put down you want to make 40,000 to begin, but I see that you've never made 40,000 ever. I said, right, but I want to now. And I think it's my turn to do that. And she went, oh, she looks down, but I was watching her the whole time, and I'm thinking, she's interviewing me. I love that. That's communicating. She's helping me get a job. I love that. She's helping me. She just told me, I asked her, did she make money at this? And she said, oh yeah, I make a lot of money. Oh, wow. Professional atmosphere. I asked her about flexibility, and she said, I can come and go as I want. You know, I just have to make placements in between. Yay. And here was an environment I could feel productive. So I said to her, excuse me, could I do what you do? And she said, no. And I thought, excuse me, I was wondering, do you need a degree to do this? And she said, no. And I said, well, could you tell me what to do, you know, so that I could maybe do what you do? She takes her glasses off. This is a true story. And puts them down on her desk, and she said, you need to be sharp like me. And I said, I can come back. I can be sharp, whatever that means. She didn't care for me. She did try to recruit me later, but I would not go for her. But I'm telling you, you have to start knowing what it is you want, whether it's your uniqueness, your skills, your clues, whatever it is. So here we go, folks. Step 1, get ready to write this down. List 5 things you love to do in your career or business. You love them though. You have to really love to do these things. So list 5 things you love to do in your career. And then list 5 things that come very easily to you, and you've noticed they don't for others. Interesting. Now I want to tell you about the common thread that goes along with that step. And I'll give you an example. Just one of my things that I love to do is teach. I'm doing it right now. I have to come up with what it is I love to teach, but I do love to teach, because otherwise you get bored with what it is you're teaching if you don't love it. And then I had to come up with something that came very easy for me since I've been little, and that was being in front of people. Now I had to go back with my common thread. This is really going to help you if you pay attention. My common thread that goes all the way back to a younger me, whether it's I'm little or I'm teenager, but did I love teaching when I was a little girl? I was teaching all the time. Now, did I know what I was talking about when I was 5? No, but I remember having people gathered around me and I'm teaching them about rocks. Well, I know nothing about rocks, but that was just something I did. Same with you. Now, being in front of people easily, And people told me, I didn't know they were uncomfortable being in front or speaking. I didn't know that. But I realized, oh, interesting. I was always in front of people when I was 5 and 6 and 7. I was singing on TV and I was on stage singing. And by the way, I can't sing, but my mother made me do that, I guess. But I have no problem being in front of people. I'm not uncomfortable. I've always known it's not about me. It's about the song or it's about the message. Another clue for you. But those are your natural talents, people. The ones that you go back. I mean, to me, this is just such a great thing to teach somebody because that is your gift. So what you love are the skills you came in with, and what comes easy is the gift you were given, and you came in with it. So as you are doing this, I do have to warn you about something because I've worked with people, and one girl, she loved being organized, so she started an organization, not an organization, but a business about organization. And it was called Organize for Success. And she just went through the ceiling. People had her in their offices, they had her at their homes. I mean, she was just busy making tons of money. She said to me one day, I don't like this. I said, are you kidding? She said, no. I said, I thought you said you loved it. And she said, I love it for me. I don't love teaching it to others or going all over this place and going into people's offices. Oh my gosh, what are you going to do? I think I'm just going to, she was going to move and she was going to enter photography. That was her passion. See, there's a difference between what you love and then what your passion is. So her passion was photography. And she said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. But she could have melded those together because her photography is beautiful. She would have come to my office and said, Patricia, I would really like to see this piece of photography that I took of this flower. She did a lot of flowers. I think it'd be beautiful in your office. I think it'd give you a lot of pleasure. I would have bought it. So she could have melded those two, but she walked away from the organization one. But once again, she should have sold that because she had a whole roster of people. But people don't think about that kind of thing. Now I want to tell you a quote, and I just make up these quotes, but I see them. I see them in front of me. Don't chase the money, chase the passion, then figure out how to make a profit. Patricia Drain. And as we talk about profit, to be honest, there's going to be issues that come up. There's going to be conditioning because I can tell you it really came up for me. I couldn't get past so many things in my life because of money conditioning. And it's happened to every one of us. It's not just me, because the more I work with people, the more I see it. And you have to get past it. First, you have to identify them. But I literally had a problem with this until I was in my 40s, and I'm in Arizona. And I thought, nobody sees me, so I can go buy anything I want. You know, before I didn't think I could drive the right kind of car. I didn't think I could have the right kind of clothes. And Arizona awakened me. And so I bought a luxury car. And I thought, hey, this is cool. I love luxury cars, by the way. And so I'm driving to get a job search from a person in Phoenix. And I parked my car 2 blocks away because of conditioning. I thought, he's not going to give me this job search. If he sees my car, he thinks I don't need money. And I wanted the job search. Of course, I parked the car, walk, and you know it's hotter than heck in Arizona. And I'm miserable in a suit. But I get there, and sure enough, he gives me the job search. We really got along well. I go to leave, and now I'm mad at myself because I'm in high heels, walking. It's probably 120, I don't know. And I get back, I get in my car, I drive down the road because it was the only road I could go on, and he waves at me because he's out having a cigarette. I'm like, oh no, he's going to take this away. I know he will. I mean, that's how deep conditioning is about money. We have to be so careful to know and to get rid of that. I get back to the office. There is a voicemail. It is from him. And literally he said, it's nice doing business with such a successful businesswoman. Well, you could have knocked me over because I knew the voicemail was going to say, you don't need this. I'm taking it back. I'm in my 40s doing that. So please discover them, get rid of them so you can make a profit with your passion. Here's step 2, people, write it down. List 5 different success stories that you've been successful doing. List 5 different successes where you felt successful. Now, I can tell you that now we have to start prioritizing, because out of the 5, you have to circle one, and then you have to write why. Why is that? And in fact, on the first one, where you love things and they come easy, I want you to circle those 2 or star them. You have to start prioritizing and getting things down to just one thing. And it's going to be hard, because I know that. But here's the thing about the success, it really validates what's important to you in life. When I looked for mine, and I had a lot of them because I'm older, so I've had successes, but I had to choose one. And the one I chose, it's because it had 4 things in common. And I thought, those are really important to me. So if these 4 are not part of a success, it probably doesn't feel like a success to me. My 4 were, when I sold my company that I didn't want to have anymore, I felt appreciated. I felt valued for what it was that I created. I felt I got the money I deserved from what I created. And I also got my freedom back and flexibility. Because, see, I didn't know that I was building the wrong thing. I couldn't understand why I was so miserable. And I'm just telling you so that it doesn't happen to you. But here, I love this quote. It's not mine. You don't want your ladder of success to be up against the wrong building. Mine was. I didn't know any better, so I built a business just like I was supposed to, thought I was. I went in 8 to 5, went to lunch 12 to 1, wore a business suit, did everything that I thought you had to do. And maybe that is all I could have done, because I didn't know anymore. But I now am a business mentor and an author. And I have a home-based business where I have all 7 ingredients, and I've never been happier. Now, here's my quote for this. When you find a passion of yours that makes a profit, you will never work another day in your life. And that's how I feel. What I'm doing right now is not work. That's what I'm trying to help you with. So now we're on to step 3 on our radical self-awareness. But really, before I go on to 3, you really want to know that, and I just have to throw this in, you are unique. And when somebody told me that, I thought, no, I'm not. Because she is better, and he is better, and they're better, and they know more. No, we are unique. I have identical twin boys, and they have the same DNA. That's weird. But they don't have the same fingerprint. And they said anything that comes closest to your fingerprint, that's probably 1 out of 64 million people. So no, you are unique. And that's my favorite. Here's my very favorite quote. You might want to write this one down. When passion, purpose, and profit collide, that's when you get paid for being you. Isn't that good? I just came up with it yesterday. Actually, I'll read it again. When passion, purpose, and profit collide, that's when you get paid for being you. Patricia Drain. Here's number 3. Write this down, because you see that you can't do all of this in this one class. List 5 topics that you know something about. And then I want you to star the one that you're most comfortable talking about. And here's where the challenge comes in. People say, I can't do it, Patricia. I can't prioritize these things. I can't put a star by this. I can't narrow down my passions, my teachings. Yes, you can. You have to. Picture a horse race, and they say, come on, get in the race. Pick a horse. You pick one horse. You can't get on 2. Right. You have to pick something, and that's a place to start. Then on the same page, list 5 platforms that you could tell somebody about that topic. Now, here's a perfect example. Today's topic is how to discover your profitable passion in 5 easy steps, and our platform is Zoom. So are you comfortable on Zoom? Are you comfortable with social media? Is that how you want to go out and use that platform? Do you want to do videos, or do you like Facebook Live? I mean, how do you plan to do this topic? Here's step 4. This is my favorite one, by the way. I want you to go ask 5 people. Yeah, 5 people. You could ask 10 or 20, but ask them what they think you're good at. Now, I had a millennial say, now why in the world would I go ask somebody what they think I'm good at? And I said, because it validates your gifts and your talents that you came in with. they will also tell you things that you didn't know about yourself. That's cool. And it does happen. I asked my son, and how would my son ever tell me anything like this unless I asked him? And I said, Scott, do you think I'm good at? Just observing me. He said, well, I know that answer. And I said, really? What? And he said, you're so good and it's so quick and it's so easy for you to immediately have an instant rapport with people. And he said, it doesn't matter if it's a waitress, it doesn't matter who it is. You just automatically do. That's one of my gifts, and I didn't put that down as something. Because instant rapport is a really good thing. Yeah, so ask people, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to be so happy. You really are. You're going to hear things about yourself, and you're going to say, I'm just really wanting to thank Patricia for having me do this. Every time I do it, people come out of the woodwork and say, I would never have done that ever, and it was very embarrassing. That made me cry because I cannot believe all the things that people said about me. Right? You need to know. What are you putting out there? All right, here's the last step. Here we go. The last step is I want you to list 5 ways that you're going to package that topic. You're going to promote that topic that you chose. You're going to price it, and you're going to make a profit from it. And that's all with your passion. Because remember, we just kept prioritizing with each one of those until we're figuring that out for you. Now, the best example I can give for that, for the profit thing, is what we're doing right now. I mean, I thought about this for a while, and I thought, no, they're on here with me, so let's just do this. Now, it's only a 45-minute class, so it's only going to be a 45-minute program. Okay, first thing I would do when I'm packaging it, I would get a .com. So I'd probably get profitable, passionate, profitable, whatever. I already have it, but I don't know what it is, .com, because I haven't done it yet. And I would create a sales page on that. And on the sales page, I would put testimonials, lots of pictures, lots of content that really mattered to people. I'd probably put a video of myself on there. And that would be on that page. And now you scroll down and then you buy and you purchase the 45-minute profitable passion program. And here's the other thing I wanted to share. This program alone, I could have this video because I'm live and in person. I could have a transcript of this video because some people like to read. And I could also then have my workbook attached to it. Okay, so now we're going to come down to promote it. Where would I start promoting to send people to this landing page? I could actually, this is a webinar. I could do it on Zoom. I could do it on social media. I could start promoting with my email list. If you have a little one, you can still promote. I might do free teleseminars that leads to that particular page. And I can tell you this though, because this is the biggest problem. It's called marketing. And it's where most of my clients really back up because they think, about me, I have to go self-promote me. Yes, you do. You have to get out and be visible. And if you can do this, seriously, if you can do this, it really helped me. It's not about you. It's about the people you can help. And the price. I wanted to share for the price of something like this, a 45-minute item, downloadable. It's all downloadable. I don't have to show up. This is kind of where you make money while you sleep. But if I said the no-brainer prices, here's what they are. $9.97. They've done studies on this. Next one up, 27. Next one, 47. And the next one is 97. And so I probably could get 97 for this. And, you know, when people are really struggling and they're looking for how to make money with what they love, I probably could. But I think with me, because I'm on such a mission to help people, I think I'll make this a free downloadable. And I think people will really get value out of it and get a lot from it. And then the last one is the profit. Well, you have to deduct what you spent. See, I can't do a sales page myself, so I have to deduct what I would be paying for that. So you deduct everything that you have to do for the program to get it out, and then everything from there is profit. And I love it when I make money while I sleep. I don't make enough to sleep much longer. So there you have all 5 of those points. And now really, I'll be sharing something in a minute that really points to the work that has to be done, but you have to do the work. So I'm going to review them very quickly. You want to write down what you love and what comes easy for you, and make sure you star the ones that you just want to focus on, because remember the power of one. And then you want to talk about your 5 successes and make sure that you understand that. You want to put down your 5 topics that you know something about. You want to put down what kind of a platform would you be comfortable with from that. You're going to go ask 5 people what they think you're really good at. And then you're going to really spend some time on how would I package and promote and price and profit from this. And then you have it all wrapped in one. Now, I have had people on with me and they say, you know, I don't want to make money. I don't need to. I just wanted to find my passion. And I said, that's fine. If you want to be a philanthropist and you want to get your message out, you know, go on Facebook, go on LinkedIn, do what you want to do with that message. But it's nice to know yourself so well that you know the message. So what I want to do at this point, before I tell you a story that really is my favorite, I want to invite at least 10 of you. Because of time, I can't do any more than that. But I came up with a formula. I literally call this Get Clear on Your Profitable Passion formula. And I take people through this formula and they just get clarity. It's like, wow, this is incredible. And if they don't, I have to ask for more time with them. But I love to reward quick decision makers also. Quick, you know, not just the 10 of you, but the first 3 of you that respond to this. And I'll tell you in a minute how to respond. They get my books that I was holding up and my class that I was talking about. So first 3, you know, I always take this very seriously. So all you have to do is email Patricia at Patricia Drain, DRAIN.com. And you just put in your subject line, I'm in, and I'll be in touch with you and make the appointment. Okay, so now with the ending, and I want to leave you with a story that's my favorite story. And by the way, I did use that whole formula with her, which I think is really cool because it made me so happy when we got to the end and there was so much clarity around this. So are you ready? I want you to listen and I want you to hear yourself weaving yourself throughout the story. So it's a girl I met. She was in Sedona. She came to one of my speaking engagements. I get on the phone with her to do this, what I just offered you. And we started down the process. And she was the most difficult person I have ever spoken with. And I couldn't figure out why. And she kept going on and on about, I don't know, I know nothing. I can't answer your questions. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to have to stay on with you longer because you're the first person that's never gotten clear about something. So finally, I dug and dug deep enough that I finally said, well, what do you love more than anything to do, whether it's in your spare time or whatever? And she said, oh, I know the answer to that. I love to quilt. And I said, wonderful, you love to quilt. Well, then why wouldn't you consider doing something with quilting? And she said, oh, I am. I'm leaving tomorrow for Texas. And it's a conference. And I said, what kind? She said, a quilting conference. I said, oh my God, how many people are going to that? I'm thinking 4. She said, well, I'm meeting my friend from Germany and the one from Switzerland, and we're going to have a ball with this. And I said, well, no, seriously, is it just the 3 of you there at the conference? And she said, oh no, it's 50,000 people go to this conference. And I went, you've got to be kidding me. I think I might have a quilting conference. Okay, I don't know how to quilt, but 50,000. I said, how much is the ticket? 300. Well, that's 15 million. Okay, what do you do at one of these? She said, oh, you go in and you look at the vendors and all the different fabrics and stuff. I said, do you spend a lot of money? And she said, oh yeah. The vendors have to pay, I think, 3,000 to 5,000 to be in there. And I'm like, oh, how many vendors? And she said, I don't think 1,000 or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And I said, you're not seeing what I see in front of me that you could be doing? I can't believe you don't see that. And she said, what do you mean? And I said, you live in Sedona. It's a destination resort area. You could go to Sedona and you could have a little conference and maybe just invite 8 people. Is this a worldwide conference? Oh yeah. And I said, wow, that's incredible. And then she told me she has her master's degree in international business. And I said, what? And she said, I'm embarrassed to say it because I've never done anything with the degree. That's really how sad we all are, people. She took a business card and I said, just do it. If you feel like it, just do it. She's okay, I'll do it. And she put out, if you want to get on a waiting list for my retreat in Sedona, it's going to be a quilter's retreat, 4 days or whatever it was. And I'll tell you more about it. She had like 32 people that immediately jumped all over that because Sedona is a destination. And so that's what she is doing now, having these retreats and making a lot of money with her passion of quilting. It's amazing. She has a membership site around it also. But one of the things, let's see, I still have time for another story and maybe some frequent questions that I get asked also. But this one is one of my favorites too. Not as much as the quilter, because the quilter was just a shock all the way around. But I went to a hairdresser for years in Scottsdale, and every time I'd go, she'd complain about standing and, you know, loving her job and being very good with hair and all of that. But she said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said to her one day, well, don't you have a horse? And she said, well, yeah, that's why I work. I mean, my horse is the most important thing to me. And I said, well, I just went to a horse show in Scottsdale and I noticed that the manes of the horses all were braided and they had jewels in them and also the tails. So does somebody do that? And she said, she just went like this. Ah, the big bulb light went on. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm going to look into that. She now does that for a living. She charges $25,000 a head for the horse and tail for both. And she says, I love my clients. They never talk back. And of course, that's her passion. She loves horses. So I hope this has really helped you thinking about what is it that you could do with your passion to make a profit. Because after all, this is the only life we get. I like to always say, what do you plan to do with this one precious life that you have left? You know, we're living it every day. So here are some frequently asked questions before I end with my little story. How will I know when I'm ready to start my own company? That's a big one. And first thing I have to say is don't leave your cash cow, because I've had it happen with a lot of people. They get, oh, I know my passion now. It's baking. I'm going to go over and be a baker. No, you stay in that cash cow job until you have now made enough money over here with your baking to make up for what it is you did over here. Or otherwise, you're going to be miserable. You can make more money if you want over here. And I've watched bakers, I've watched people that do flowers, I've watched them all come on and start their own companies and make more money than they did at their job, and they still can't believe that that really happened. But here's another one. How will I ever know who my ideal client is? Oh, this is such a big one, because you have to get so specific with this that you have, you'll start asking people, or looking at your people, I mean, and seeing, okay, I think she would be the ideal client. How old is she? She can't be 40 to 50. Nobody's 40 to 50. So she has to be 42, 47, something. Okay, she's 47. What's her name? Ginger. Okay, what does she do? Where does she go? She plays tennis. She reads business books. Okay, where does she work? She works at a bank. Okay, she's your ideal client. I want you to start talking to her when you promote yourself and when you're promoting your product, because Ginger is your market. And when people say to me, Patricia, it seems like you're talking directly to me, that's probably because you're Ginger. You're my Ginger. And so you get really specific with that. Make it into your avatar. And then here's another frequently asked question. I still have 5 minutes, I see. And it is, even after these 5 things I went through with you, this has just happened, by the way, last week. I went through these 5 different things and they were so helpful and they've done so deep, but I'm telling you, I still need more. Yes, and I have programs for that, but I am going to tell you that I felt so sorry for her because she's never paid attention to herself. She's never really dug deep. She's never gotten to the core of who she is, and she's never found her passion. And here she is now, an artist, but she didn't know it until she turned 70, and then she became this artist. She could have been teaching art. She could have been selling art. Who knows? I don't know. She's still good. I mean, she's kind of pulling away from it. She's one of the people that really doesn't need to work, doesn't need the money. That's not me, and that's not you, or you wouldn't be on here. Okay, so I'm going to leave you today with something that I feel, I put it in one of my books also because I just think it's so valuable. So there are these 3 teenage boys and they live in this village. And there's a guru who sits on the top of the mountain and he meditates all day. and he knows everything. And the boys say, let's go trick him. Oh, how am I going to do that? Well, I'll get a bird. And of course, he'll know it's a bird. But if I say, is the bird alive or dead? And if he says it's alive, I'm going to crush it in my hand. If he says it's dead, I'm going to let it fly. Let's go. They go up to the top. Wise old man, what's in my hand? It's a bird, my son. He never took his eyes off, looking straight ahead. And the boy started winking and laughing. Wise old man, is the bird alive or is it dead? He looks him right in the eye and he says, the answer's in your hands, my son. Is that good? I love it. No wonder I put it in a book, because it's just a really nice story. And here's the bottom line for you today, being in this 45-minute session with me. I gave you 5 really good tips and ideas on what to do. If you do the work now, you have to take it from today and really sit with yourself and do it. And if you do that, you're going to find a whole new you in there, and passions that you didn't even know that you had, and ways to make a profit with that passion, because the possibilities are endless. But here's the deal. The answer's in your hands now. Thank you for being here. I'm Patricia Drain. Patricia at patriciadrain.com. DRAIN. Thank you.